Hey friends! Did you miss me? Welcome back to playing tribute to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, the original trilogy. We are on the final game of that original trilogy called Trials and Tribulations. And this is a good game. It's got 5 cases, and 2 of the I'm not going to spoil anything. But we are going to enjoy this case. As always with these games, they always start with kind of a little tutorial sort of thing, which, after playing, if you're playing these games, there is an ongoing story, there are ongoing characters. These are sequels of each other. It's an original trilogy. So it's kind of odd to have that sort of going on, even though, it would be assumed that you've played these games before. But, it was like a year or two between each game, so things are forgotten. In this case, it's just a couple of days. Or in my case right now, I just finished the last case of the last game earlier today, and I just figured I can get started on this one. So, time is relative. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this new game here. I always get so excited with these games. I love them so much. I remember when I first got this game, when I learned that it was out, when I, went out to get it, I was so excited. I just love this. Let's go into it. It's called Turnabout Memories. So let's give it a go. Welcome to the first case of Trials and Tribulations. How did I get into this mess? Why? Why did I do that? That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Five years earlier, Mia Fey, second trial. And yes, you read that right. Second trial. Also, if you notice the silhouette in the bottom is different from its usual silhouette. We are playing as Mia Fey. Nice flashback here. Phew, it's finally time. I'm kind of nervous. Oh, Mr. Grossberg. Good morning.
Oh, Mia, please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior,
What are you talking about? I am relaxed, Mr. Grossberg. Look at me. I'm relaxed.
Let go of my lapels. You obviously haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer.
I'm so sorry. It's just that I'm so nervous today.
Oh, that's right. This is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never you fear, my dear. I, Marvin Grossberg, am at your service.
Actually, this is my second time in court.
Still, you surprised me. What with your earnest request last night? Let me handle this case, you suddenly said, and quite forcefully, too.
I just found out yesterday. About the case, I mean.
What? And you've already learned all the relevant facts?
Well, about that. You see, of course I have. I think.
Oh dear. In any case, don't let our client see you so nervous. You see the poor young man in the pink sweater over there? That's our client.
He looks so happy.
Oh,
Good morning there, everybody. Good morning. Try to keep smiling, Mia. I just want to say I'll give it all I've got. Yep, it'll be fine. No problem. Oh, what's wrong? Do you have a cold or something, Mr. Rye? Actually, it's right. Like the Flying Brothers. People screw it up all the time. And yes, I have a cold. That's what this mask is for. My doc says this way I won't give it to anyone else. Be kind to others, he says. Right, Mr. Wright. You have nothing to fear in court today. If you are truly innocent, I promise I will save you. Please, let go of my shirt. That's right. He's the one on trial, not you. He's the one who should be nervous. You look so sad now. You need to stay strong for your client, Mia. My name is Mia Fey. I'm still pretty new at this lawyer thing. The first time I appeared in court was a year ago. But that trial traumatized me so badly I thought I'd never set foot in another courtroom. It's been 1 year since then, and well, here I am again. But this time I'll win. For my client, and for myself. I should probably look at the court record. There'll be plenty of time for that in the tutorial. We'll be fine.
Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense today is Ms. Mia Fey, was it?
Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem?
I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg was to be leading the defense.
Yes, well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency.
Emergency? But isn't that him standing there right next to you?
Yes, well...
You're just a rookie. Are you sure you can really handle this?
Don't let him scare you, Mia. Give him your toughest look. Of course, Your Honor. I think.
Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please.
It's great to see Mia as a rookie. It's great. Because she's always the one to give the confidence to Phoenix and to, like, snap him out of his head. And here she is kind of in the same kind of panic that we often see Mr. Wright in.
Well, well, well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend his time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Don't worry, little girl. It'll all be over soon.
What's that all about? Was he trying to trash talk me?
Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of events on the day in question. The incident occurred on the campus of Ivy University. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow. He was a fourth-year student studying pharmacology.
Sounds like he was a very bright young man.
Yes, well, next we have a photo taken at the scene of the crime. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body and the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway. Then they called the police.
That certainly makes the defendant look very suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into the record as evidence.
Alright, looks like I got the autopsy report too, perhaps.
By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo.
Your reputation for
sagacity. I probably did not pronounce that correctly. I've never actually had to read that word out loud. Is well earned, Your Honor!
The truth is that this victim died a rather unusual death.
An unusual death?
What do you mean, Mr. Payne?
Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question.
Huh?
A simple question. I thought it might loosen you up a bit.
How nice of you.
I'm a gentleman, if you will.
What? Stand up to him, Mia. Show him what you're made of.
Perfect opportunity. Well, what was it? The cause? Go on. Please say you know at least this much.
I'm so sorry. I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file.
Ooh, my hemorrhoids are beginning to act up. Now see here. The details of the case are filed under the court record. But you knew that already, didn't you?
Ah, the court record. I think I can see that by touching the court record button. Tutorial stuff.
All of the weapons we need can be found in the court record. Take a good hard look at the data there and think carefully before you answer, my dear.
Yes, sir. I'll do just that. I've got to stay calm. I can't let that prosecutor get the better of me. Let's take a look. So there's my badge. The first and last time I used it was a year ago. Date and time of death, 4/9 at 3. Cause of death was a fatal electric shock. So that's his unusual death. And there's our picture. Which we can probably see the murder weapon there, so to speak. Alright.
Now then, would the attorney for the defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death?
Oh. These are some nice words there for things. Electrocution. According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. In other words, electrocution.
Electrocution? But how could such a thing happen? Did the murderer use some kind of new, super powerful stun gun, perhaps?
The answer to that will become crystal clear as this trial proceeds, Your Honor. But before that, there is one more vital issue.
What's that?
Why, motive, of course. Apparently, there was some bad blood between the victim and the defendant.
I am so sorry. I forgot to silence my phone. I apologize for that. I've been doing it every other time. I'm not going to start re-recording, though, so it's fine. It's fine.
Bad blood?
What do you mean?
Oopsie, I'm terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I shouldn't be stealing your spotlight like this.
I really don't like this guy's smug attitude.
That's Winston Payne for you. He's one smooth operator, if you catch my drift. They don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know.
Ah. See, I knew that was what he was called, and I think I referenced that earlier in some of the other games. But this is, I guess, where they mention it.
Now then, let's hear from the defense. What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant?
Oh boy, do I need to look at the court record again? Here's Grossberg. Ah, good old Phoenix Wright. Swallow. We've got Dahlia Hawthorne. She might be the source of the bad blood, considering she dated the victim. Also, we know what the story is from the beginning. I keep thinking, I'm like, oh, I have to play dumb because, I know all of these cases, obviously, and I'm like, oh, I have to pretend like I don't know, or, not pretend, because you guys know, but, like, act and speak as though I don't. So, but yeah, we know, we got that whole, like, little thing at the beginning, so. Let's move along then. The source of the bad blood. I want to see some supporting evidence. Evidence?
No need to get all worked up over this. As I said, all our weapons can be found in the court record. Find the evidence you need and then shove it in the old Greybeard's face.
Yes, sir, into old Greybeard's face.
Mr. Grossberg, try to set a better example for the young lady. Mere evidence isn't the only thing in the court record. People's profiles are there as well. You can toggle between profiles and evidence, blah, 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 tutorial stuff. Now then, let's see what you've got. What was the cause of the bad blood between Phoenix and the victim?
The reason for this bad blood between the two of them was this woman here.
Dahlia Hawthorne, is it?
Very good, Ms. Fay. You seem to have picked up on at least this much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright. But up until about 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow. Clearly, she has some part to play in the story.
He's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking like he wants. Very well, Mr. Payne. Please call your first witness.
If it pleases the court, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What? The defendant himself? Well, Miss Fay?
It's fine. After all, Mr. Wright is innocent, right? The defense has no objection.
Very well.
Wow, I didn't have to, like, choose or anything. Which I guess makes sense. This is still an early case, so it's not going to make me do any weird choice things like that. Not that it would have made a difference. They were going to call him anyway.
The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the stand.
I have to differentiate the judge's voice from Grossberg.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes. My name is Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, right now I guess I'm a suspect.
No, he means what did you do before you were arrested?
Oh, I was a university student.
Mr. Wright, do you understand that you are suspected in the death of your fellow student, Doug Swallow?
But I didn't do it. I'm innocent, I tell you. I'm telling you I was.
Would the defendant please refrain from passing on his code to the rest of us?
It seems the witness has something he wants to say.
Well then, Mr. Wright, please tell us about your relation to the victim.
Right away, Your Honor. His eager little face. I love young Phoenix. It's adorable. I admit I was there, but I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. I see, so you hardly knew the victim. Right, like I said, I'm not a killer. Whew, looks like the judge understands.
You're being naive, you know, too naive.
Huh?
It seems that you've forgotten one small thing, young lady.
And that would be...
This witness still has to undergo something called cross-examination.
Cross-examination?
That's right, and it's the defense's duty to carry out the cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if the witness's testimony contains any contradictions.
Contradictions?
If the witness is lying, their statements will conflict with the court record.
But Mr. Wright is my client.
Even if he is your client in court, all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see.
What does he mean by that? Is he saying that testimony just now? That there was a lie? A contradiction?
Now, your cross-examination, if you please, Miss Fay.
Please, Mr. Wright, tell me you haven't been lying. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? His spikes are a little, floppy. I forgot what her voice sounded like when she said hold it. When you say there, you mean the place where the victim was murdered?
Yeah, sort of. The place where something happened, anyway.
Something? You can't hide what happened. We have photographic evidence.
Anyway, Mr. Wright, what were you doing at the scene of the crime? I thought you said you didn't know the victim, Mr. Swallow. It was just a coincidence. We bumped into each other by accident.
A coincidence, huh?
You say you found the body, so who called the police?
Huh?
He gets super nervous. He starts coughing up a storm and sneezing. I don't really have much evidence to, like, prove any lies right now, so we're gonna keep pressing.
Unfortunately, it was some other students that notified the police.
Other students?
That's correct. They were witnesses. Witnesses who saw the defendant standing there next to the body in shock.
What? Is this true, Mr. Wright?
I'll take that as a yes. Could you stop sneezing every time you're in a bind?
Well, it's true that I was pretty shocked when I found the body, but I hardly knew the guy to begin with.
So you didn't know his face or even his name, right?
Right. Well, no.
That is, I mean... So, which is it? Did you know him or not?
Now see here, you can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day.
Well, I guess I did know his name. News to me. Why didn't you tell me that before?
I heard he used to date Dolly. Who is this Dolly person?
Yes, that would be the defendant's lover, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, I see. Ah, young love. So bittersweet.
But that's all I knew about him. Stuck-up British wannabe? Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. That's right. I mean, why would I even... But that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that the victim was stuck-up British wannabe? Well, Mr. Wright? No, it wasn't me. I'm not a killer, I swear. Start by telling the truth, please.
Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe?
Yes, well... He's walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt? Did you see it at the crime scene? The Union Jack, I mean? Yes, that's right. I saw it at the crime scene. That's why I figured he must love British stuff, see? It's true, cross my heart. I swear I didn't do it. He's acting fishier than the salmon I ate last night.
May I ask you something, Miss Fay?
Yes, Your Honor. What is it now?
Who is this person, anyway, this Union Jack fellow?
The Union Jack is the name of the flag of England.
Oh, I see. So you mean like the Stars and Stripes, right?
As usual, Your Honor, your insight astounds me.
Hey, something just occurred to me. Isn't there something strange about that last bit just now?
Mia, there's a contradiction here.
Mr. Grossberg.
Quickly now, show that boy you mean business. With evidence, I mean.
Okay, Mia. Check the court record carefully.
Well, my dear, do you think you can manage on your own from this point?
I can handle it myself. 1 year ago, I was in a courtroom just like this. I can do it. I can handle this myself.
You mustn't try to bite off more than you can chew, Mia.
I'll be fine. I know what I have to do.
Remember, you can always press him to get more information. Oh, and one more thing. When you're going to state a contradiction, make sure you present some definitive proof.
Okay, Mia. One more time from the very beginning of his testimony. Okay. The problem, of course, is on the additional information here. He said something about it being on his back, but you can't... He says he saw it at the crime scene. You cannot see it. I think he's wearing a jacket. You cannot see it here.
Objection!
Are you certain you saw the Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. It was right there on his back.
Ms. Fay, is there some point to this line of questioning?
Your Honor, please take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing written on the victim's back. Hey, wait a minute. He's wearing a leather jacket. The Union Jack was on the back of the t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression that you accidentally came across the body. But if that was really the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You'd have no idea at all what he was wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me. Please forgive me.
Mia, you made your client cry.
Let him. That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyways. I can't believe I trusted him. Mr. Wright was all wrong.
That was an impressive bit of cross-examination. Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me. It's quite clear that this man does not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime.
Uh-oh. Did I go too far?
By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it?
Yeah, I took some, but...
Was the medicine that you took an over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X?
Yeah, that's right. It kills colds good. Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X?
Would you happen to have that medicine with you right now?
Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. You lost it? Does this even have anything to do with the case?
Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now?
Huh?
Your Honor, I'd like you to take a look at another photo from the crime scene.
What's this? In the victim's hand, it's Cold Killer X.
Yes, but even I've got a bottle of Cold Killer X in my apartment.
I am sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to. Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints were all over it.
What?
Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped it by Mr. Wright, and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright.
Order in the court.
Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence.
Very well. The court will accept them into the record.
Let's see what we can get from this stuff. The picture that we saw. And I'm very interested in the watch. I wonder if the time there has anything to do with it. This is 3 p.m. Yeah, 3. Yeah, not great.
Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken.
Broken?
Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all of this?
This is really bad.
Oh, my buttocks. My poor, poor hemorrhoids. No more lies, Phoenix. Come on.
The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. We talked for a bit, and then at around 3, we split up. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I've been taking the Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. Around lunchtime? Interesting.
Mr. Wright, that's completely different than the testimony you gave previously.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth.
You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible.
Miss Fay, please begin your cross-examination. If you had started with the truth, maybe they would have trusted this one.
Please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. Alright, he called... Had you ever met the victim before then?
No, never.
But that day he called me up and told me he wanted to talk about Dolly.
And this Dolly person is...
It's kind of embarrassing. She's my, sweetheart.
What was that for, Mia?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden.
Dahlia Hawthorne was also the lover of the murder victim Doug Swallow. Before she met Mr. Wright, that is.
So it was one of those nasty love triangles, I see.
Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated that you should meet at 2:45?
Yeah, and we were both there right on time. You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct?
Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU.
An alchemist, I see.
I gotta admit, it was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity.
Oh, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man.
What do I do? Maybe I should ask him for more details?
Sure, let's talk about the timing.
Timing is important. So, you are absolutely certain that you met at 2:45? Yeah, pretty sure. That's the time class ends. But they're always doing experiments, so it doesn't matter much. Experiments? Yeah, those pharmacology guys are always in the lab whipping up something. Well, it looks like he's right about the time anyway.
Witness, let's go on with your testimony.
Well, he just talked about... The pharmacology department and how they're always whipping up stuff. Now I'm curious. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department. Well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity? That's right. And they sure look dangerous. They use non-standard voltages, so there are high-voltage cables everywhere. High-voltage cables? Yeah, there were electrical poles set up all around the building. The high-voltage cables run overhead around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere. So what was it that you were talking about? You know, that maybe we should hang out again sometime? Hang out again sometime? I wish that were true. Come on, stop lying. So you say you went back. Yeah, that's when I found the body. Yes, but why did you go back in the first place? Weren't you angry with him? Well, that's right, I was. Then why, Mr. Wright? Why did you go back there? I thought maybe we could make up. Judging by the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure no one's buying this. It's rather unusual to catch a cold this time of year, isn't it? Yeah, I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh? I suppose common sense is not always common. So, did anyone else know that you were taking cold medicine? Well, I always took one after meals, so I'm pretty sure all my friends knew about it. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does that have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. I always eat with Dolly. Just the two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelets are magically delicious.
Ouch! Why did you punch me in the jaw?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden.
I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of his death. And then the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason.
I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either.
Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony cannot be trusted.
What do you mean?
I knew it was too much work for a little girl.
However, there is one mystery that still remains.
There is, Your Honor.
How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct?
Well, that is, you are correct, Your Honor.
So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. Your Honor.
Yes, Miss Fay.
I believe that if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died.
That would be most impressive.
Quite the brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence.
Of course I know that. Actually, I'd totally forgotten about that.
The bluffing started with her! Now then, Miss Fay, let me see what you've got. Show me how you believe the victim was electrocuted.
Alright, I did say that we definitely saw the murder weapon in this photo. As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well.
What? But there's nothing that even remotely resembles a murder weapon here. You have to remember how he was murdered, though. I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Fay, where exactly in this photo is the murder weapon?
Well, naturally, it's right here. What is that? A severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we've heard. The machines the pharmacology students use in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there are special high-voltage cables strung up everywhere.
So then the high-voltage cable.
Yes, the high-voltage cable is the cause of death. That is the most likely explanation.
It certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I believe some praise is in order.
Don't toy with me, old man.
Now, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been high-voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was the defendant.
That much is certainly true.
Yes, and that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof that will establish that Mr. Wright was the murderer.
You do? What is it?
His fingerprints.
Fingerprints? You mean that the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides the medicine bottle?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket. And as you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well.
You mean...
Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area of the victim's jacket. The palm print of the defendant's very own hand.
What?
I could only think of one way Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent on murder, he squarely pushed the victim toward the severed electrical cable.
Order! That's enough. I think we can conclude that there is no reason to continue with this cross-examination. Stick a fork in us, we're done.
Mr. Grossberg.
My hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia. I knew that boy was guilty the first time I saw him.
Oh, gee, thanks, Grossberg.
No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent.
No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt.
Your Honor.
At this time, I am prepared to render a verdict in this case. Do you have something further to add, Ms. Fay?
Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth. The whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. But I can't. I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Miss Fay, no matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you, and I'll represent you to the very end.
We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything.
Wait a minute. Mr. Wright, I'll tell you what really happened.
But I've already told you, Mr. Wright. There's no need for further...
I did it. I admit it. I pushed him. It's my fault. My fault that Doug Swallow is dead.
What you just said, was that the truth?
Yes, I was afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure.
Well, as things currently stand, we're all absolutely convinced you are.
Please give me one more chance to explain. This time I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Faye? I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I still can't believe it. You really did push the victim.
It feels like my hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake. Oh, Grossberg.
That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back. But he was just laying there, dead.
Well, that explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electric cable. He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that.
A simple explanation indeed.
At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted.
But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed it.
That's true. Even a doofus like him couldn't miss that. Is that how you spell doofus? I thought it was with 2 O's. Like Doofus. Also, that's not very nice. Miss Faye, let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia.
If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that'll prove it. Okay, so it wasn't even an accident, because he didn't see any wires. So what kinds of things did Mr. Swallow say to you?
He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was a bad girl.
Is that all? Yep. Well, Miss Faye, you heard him yourself.
Oh boy, you're not doing yourself any favors here, Mr. Wright. Please don't make this harder for me than it already is. Anyway, after he said that, I just... Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? That guy, he just said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy. I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest.
You knocked him over.
And when you did that, there was no severed cable anywhere to be seen? Right. There was nothing like that at all.
But it is possible that you merely overlooked it.
Well, I guess it's possible. What are you doing? Don't let that guy steamroll over you like cheap asphalt.
I believe what's important here is the moment the push occurred. Let's continue on with the testimony, witness.
A loud noise. And what would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like snap. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was.
Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted.
You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important. So try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack? Could it have been... Yes, could it have been... Hurry up and tell us. When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. He fell right on top of it, and it broke. That was probably a noise I heard. That's helpful.
Umbrella, huh? And did that umbrella belong to the victim?
Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella. Cheap and frail, kind of like the owner. And then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone.
Miss Faye, what do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now?
Sure. This is it, Mia. The new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important.
No, this cheap umbrella is more than important. It's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony. Ha! How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer.
The court agrees to the defense's request. Witness, please add that bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony.
After I shoved him, he fell down on top of his cheap umbrella. Okay, if he fell down on top of his cheap umbrella, why is it so far away from him in this picture? Why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier. What do you mean by that?
Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole.
You're absolutely right.
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive.
No!
Order, order! The victim, he moved. Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now?
Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene.
I want it presented as evidence immediately.
Is it like a see-through umbrella? What's happening there?
But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind.
According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind.
But
I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment.
no!
However, I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony.
Hey! We got his testimony. Awesome. Okay.
Well done, Mia.
I
think I did an extra he in there.
Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about?
Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. It was foolish to think I could establish guilt through the cross-examination alone.
I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying.
Let me guess. You have another witness.
Exactly! This witness's testimony will be incontrovertible.
Well, who is this witness?
Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Dahlia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly.
I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place.
What?
I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear.
Bad news. You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this.
You can't be serious.
Mia, what do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop at. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we will listen to the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Aw. Miss Faye, I'm so sorry about what happened back there. It's alright. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright. Yeah. So I guess I can start to relax then, huh?
Relax, my boy. You can't be serious after hiding such important facts.
But the next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will. Why do you think that? What do you mean? She's the love of my life, that's why. The love of your life, huh? Would you mind telling me more about you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dolly and I, we first met about 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse. Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side. Anyway, one day she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. And that's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day we met as a symbol of our love. She had been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off. But before she gave it to me, she said, "I want you to carry this."
So she gave it to you as a present, I see.
This darling little bottle is filled with memories of my darling little Dolly. It certainly is a little bottle, all right. It makes me so happy. I show it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world. Anyway. He shows it to everyone. So after that, you and Miss Hawthorne started dating? Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now.
What a strange girl asking for a present back like that.
By the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne 8 months ago? It wouldn't happen to have been on August 27th, would it?
Huh?
Yeah, it was. But how did you... This happened on August 27th, right here in this courthouse. What's this, a newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse. Murder?
What are you reading there? Let me see that. Oh, I see. Yeah, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you suddenly took such a keen interest in this case. You believe there is some relationship between these two cases, am I correct?
I hope you don't mind, Mr. Grossberg. Very little information is being disclosed at this time since the victim of yesterday's incident in the district courthouse cafeteria is said to have been a lawyer. However, police are questioning the 19-year-old female college student who is sitting with the victim. I need to finish this myself.
Ah, yes, but I'm afraid that what you have will not be enough, dear. I'll go and have a look at the downstairs reading room and see what else I can find.
Thank you.
I want to do whatever I can to be of help to you, Mia. Well, it looks like recess is about over. We'd better all get moving.
Guess so. That recess sure seemed longer than 20 minutes, though. Of course, Grossberg wants to be of any help that he can to me because of the whole past with DL6. Ooh, different tune for saving things. That was cool. Well then, we've gotten started. We've met Mia and a young Phoenix, and we're about to go into the courtroom against Dahlia Hawthorne, which Mia seems to have her sights set on. Yeah, so we'll see what happens next at part 2. Talk to you guys then.